Iran, nuclear threats, hostility with Israel. The media paints one picture, but the Bible tells another. What if the very nation that now threatens Israel with annihilation was once handpicked by God to rebuild it? You think you know their story, but you probably don't know the whole story. What I found looking into it? Honestly, it blew my mind. Because before Iran was ever the enemy, the Bible says it was Israel's greatest hero. And the journey between those two extremes is a prophetic roadmap that seems to be unfolding right now. Quick history lesson. 6th century BC. Israel is in exile after Babylon destroyed their nation. Hope is gone. Then comes King Cyrus of Persia. The prophet Isaiah names Cyrus 150 years before he's even born. And when Cyrus rises to power, he does exactly what Isaiah said. He defeats Babylon, frees the Jews, and funds the rebuilding of their temple. He even returns the stolen temple treasures. This wasn't just politics. It was prophecy fulfilled in real time. A pagan king funding the Jewish temple? If this was in a Netflix script, you'd say it's unrealistic. But for a huge stretch of history, Persia wasn't just an ally, it was a divine shield. So Persia was the hero? Not for long. Because in the Bible's prophetic timeline, the story flips. We have to turn to the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 38. It describes a famous future conflict known as the War of Gog and Magog. The prophecy says that in the latter days, after Israel has been regathered and is living in security, a great northern-led coalition will form to attack it to seize spoil and capture plunder. Ezekiel lays out a specific list of the nations in this military alliance. And who is listed first as a key partner in this invasion? Persia. The reversal is breathtaking. How is that possible? Well, let's look at today's headlines. The prophecy mentions Gog, the leader from the far north, which many scholars identify as modern-day Russia. It also names Gomer and Togarmah, which are historically linked to the area of modern-day Turkey. Now think about it. Who are the primary geopolitical allies in the Middle East right now, constantly meeting and coordinating? Russia, Turkey, and Iran. The exact alliance laid out by Ezekiel 2,600 years ago is forming before our very eyes. Suddenly, today's news reports about drone sales and military pacts don't just feel like politics, they feel like prophecy. But the story has one more twist, one most people miss. Is judgment the final word for Iran? In biblical prophecy, judgment is rarely the entire story. There's almost always a promise of future hope. The prophet Jeremiah gives a little-known promise about ancient Persia. After predicting judgment, he says God will one day, in the last days, restore the fortunes of Elam. Restoration. So how could that happen? Look closer. Right now, today, something incredible is happening inside Iran. Away from the cameras, a spiritual revolution is taking place. Mission organizations consistently report that the fastest-growing underground church in the world is in Iran. Millions are risking everything to embrace the Christian faith, with many reporting supernatural dreams and visions. The same nation that once rebuilt God's temple, then joins the alliance to destroy it, and now is quietly turning to Jesus. That's not just news, that's prophecy in motion. What if the war isn't the end of the story? What if the real battle is for hearts? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if this gave you something to think about, hit that like button. Thanks for watching.